All right, welcome back to the Mad Monks podcast. My name is Aaron.
Whoop, whoop. My name's Chris.
What was that? The
Whoop,
whoop.
whoop.
Okay, that's a new one.
We're getting prepared.
Apparently, we're whooping it. Okay, actually, that reminds. So this is a callback. You're old enough to remember Arsenio Hall
Oh, yeah.
and
Oh,
his
yeah.
he had a late night talk show.
He did.
And that was the big thing. Like whoop 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 whoop. They would like pump their fist and
Yeah,
everything like that.
yeah.
That's a callback. You don't see that anymore these days. But that was a big deal for Arsenio Hall. It was a good show.
It was awesome.
Yeah, he had great guests, great program.
Yeah, it was a good show. Yeah.
There you go. He's probably like old as we are now.
Oh,
Or
no, he's
older.
probably 80
Older.
or 70.
Jeez. While we're talking about Jesus Christ Bible God, let's find out how old Arsenio Hall is.
Not that we're saying 70 is old.
No, good Lord, no. Arsenio Hall he was born in 1956. He is 70 years old.
Oh, darn, I was dead on. Look
All
at
right,
that.
look at you. Apparently you know your mid-90s celebrities.
I just guessed.
Sure. Okay. I was going to try and give you some props, but never mind. Never mind. Here we are. Welcome to the Mad Monks podcast. It is time to talk about this subject, which is, again, this was Chris's idea from previous, and the subject is from darkness to light. So,
Yes.
Chris, why did we choose this particular subject?
Most of these ideas come to me when I'm driving on my motorcycle or walking through the house.
Okay.
And from the past few weeks, as many of you may or may not know, I'm going to tell you anyway.
Don't even try and stop us. There's
You can't stop us.
We're just
It's
telling
not-
you. We're going to tell you.
We're
how it
going
is.
to tell you.
Yep.
So I've been on this journey with Christ, right? And to become more like Him.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm telling you, it's one of the hardest things I've ever done because He will point out all of your flaws,
Mhm.
and He has.
Mm-hmm.
One of them specifically this morning He brought to my attention, and it is a big one. And I don't know how to fix it.
Okay.
I don't know how to let stuff. There's something that I need to let go that I don't know how to let go.
Yeah.
And so this is going to be a journey for me on letting this go, because I believe once I let this go, it will help me to grow immensely.
Yeah.
And so the reason I came up with this was I got to thinking about how I was watching some near-death experiences too.
Light viewing, very light,
I-
humorous viewing on a Tuesday afternoon.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I do. I don't know why I'm like that, but I'm curious.
Okay.
So I was watching it, and
Sorry, my mind went to curiosity killed the cat. So that's not an appropriate
that's true.
reaction.
That's true. Yeah.
It nearly killed the cat. It
nearly-
didn't.
It didn't.
Nearly the near-death experience for the cat.
Yeah.
One of its 9 lives got used up.
It was on 8.5.
Yeah. Now it's on 8 3/4.
Yeah, it is. And so what happened was I was watching, and I watched about 7 of them, right? And
Sorry, Chris, I love you so much. Every time we talk, I get something new. I'm like, well, okay. I mean, I watch funny bloopers for 7 hours, maybe, or 7 times, but near-death experiences. Okay, all right, 7 episodes.
I don't know. I'm curious, man. I don't know how to explain
Nothing
it.
wrong with curiosity.
But I was watching, and I noticed a common thing among all of these experiences
Mm-hmm.
was that they described hell
Okay.
as a darkness that you could feel.
Ooh. Okay.
And so I brought this up to my wife,
Mhm.
and I said, "Honey, what do you think about this?" And she said, "Well, I can attest to that because I have felt that same darkness." And I said,
Mm.
"What?
Interesting.
I've never felt that darkness before,
Right.
ever. I've never felt it. So I don't know what it actually feels like." But
Right.
from their perspective, seeing darkness is something you can feel. That makes you wonder. All right, if it's something you can feel, what does that mean?
Hmm.
What is in that darkness that you can feel? Because you
Yeah.
can't feel darkness,
Yeah.
but there has to be a presence in that darkness
Right.
that is invoking some kind of feeling or emotion,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe you're just terrified. I don't know. Maybe it's the feeling of terror.
Yeah.
I don't know, because if you think about this, if you go into a dark room, right,
Mhm.
you turn off the lights.
Right.
You don't know where you're at. You in space and time, you can't
Yeah.
know where you are.
Mm-hmm.
Humans have this innate desire to know where we are.
Right.
to be able to feel where we're going.
Well, even just like not just like literally where we are, but
Yeah.
also metaphorically where we are in life.
yeah.
Like, are we where
Yeah.
we are? Where are we at in our journey?
Yeah.
What's the point? What's our
What's our
destination?
purpose?
What's our
Yeah.
purpose? What's that?
Yeah.
So that's I think. I mean, so there's there's two different things here. We're talking about like the darkness, like you sense it or you feel it or you see it or whatever.
Yep.
But there's also the idea of like there are people who you can sense that darkness in, or you can sense
Yeah.
something's off. I've had
Something's wrong.
I've had experiences where, I've met somebody or I'm talking to somebody or whatever, and I'm just kind of like, something is not right. I can't put my finger on it. I can't tell you, well, here's the reasons why, but something is off.
Mm-hmm.
Something is not quite right here. And I think that is part of like, we're able to sense that darkness or that
Yep.
something is not the way it should be here.
Yeah.
And I think that's
Oh, yeah.
part of the equation. And one or two of those individuals where I kind of have had that sense is later in life, they did something that was not good.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh gosh, I think
That's why.
you're right. I kind of sensed that there was something going on there.
Yeah.
And that's not to say that like I knew it was coming. I was like, something was off and I wasn't quite sure why. And I couldn't put my finger on it. But then you're like, oh, that's why. Okay.
That's why, yeah.
But yeah, darkness is, it's a very much of a theme in the Bible. Like it's the darkness versus the light. It's, a lamp unto my feet in the darkness. Like there's the imagery is very, and the reason why we talked about this before on the previous episodes, the reason why both Jesus and the disciples and the apostles and even Old Testament, they talk about light and the darkness because
Yep.
in Bible times, they didn't have electricity, if you weren't aware. It was very much candlelight, like torches.
Yeah.
Like when things got dark, the day was done. It was over. Like
was dark.
you were done. And so the idea of they understood what pitch black darkness looked like.
They knew it. Yeah.
They got it. And we talk about like you go out in the city today and you look up in the sky and you can't really see the stars if you're like in Denver because of all the lights and the
Light
interference.
pollution.
Light
Yeah.
pollution.
Yeah.
Well, back in the Bible times, there was no light pollution.
That's true.
So when they looked up into the stars, they could see brightly that
amazing.
beautiful thing. And so we talk about the metaphors and all the things that Christ and the apostles and the disciples and the writers use in the Bible.
Yep.
It wasn't because that was it was a matter of convenience, but it was also a matter of understanding.
Yeah.
When
true,
they talked
true.
about a lamp unto my feet, that is how they got around at night. Like if they needed to go somewhere, they had to have like a lamp to see where they were going because it was pitch black. There were no street lights.
Yeah.
There was none of that. And so the darkness was it was there to be reckoned with. It was there to be feared. It was
Yep.
there to, if you had to go through it, you got a lantern, you got something that would give light to your path
Yep.
so that you could make through it. And even then your safety wasn't assured
Yep.
because there might be robbers, there might be people on the street who were
True.
criminals or
Yep.
trying to take advantage of people in the darkness.
Yep.
And so the darkness is not just like, oh, dark and light. It is interwoven into the Bible.
It is.
I mean, we talk about Genesis bringing darkness into light. There was dark
Yep.
and then there was light.
Yep.
And now they're like, so even since the beginning of the Christian story, or as some would call it, the Christian mythology, but I call it the Christian story.
It's history.
Right. It's history for us as Christians. Other
It
people
is.
call it mythology because that's just what they do, whatever.
Yeah.
To each his own. But the point of it is that this this idea of darkness and light
Yep.
is not just a modern discovery or something
No.
the last 100 years, that it is the essence of every story told.
It is.
Because you read the protagonist versus the antagonist, and that's dark versus light and light versus dark and all of this. And so
The Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings, one ring to rule them all. And so
That's right.
there is power
Sauron.
in those stories, but because it's the original story, that's why the darkness has always been kind of like this. I mean, kids are afraid of the dark, like things like that,
My son Isaac is.
because there is that fear of what's in that darkness.
Exactly.
But then there's the idea of Christ and God and your faith is that light in the darkness, and that's what allows us to get through it and to survive it. So that's just kind of a side note if you're curious about like why this particular subject is a conversation.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it is.
Exactly. Yeah. So there was in 1 John 2:11, there is a verse that says, "But whoever hates his brother is in the darkness and walks in the darkness and does not know where he's going because the darkness has blinded his eyes." Now, for everyone who does not know Christ, that is the case. He is, because it says he is the light of the world. He is the light, the way, the truth. He is the life. He's everything. And
Yeah.
if we don't know him, we walk in darkness. Now, the dictionary, it's darkness is described as this: the partial or total absence of light, wickedness or evil. So it has a metaphorical way of saying it and a physical way of saying it too. So what's interesting about darkness is that I was I'll tell you this quick story.
Sure.
Because it's our podcast and we can do that.
You can do whatever you want.
And so
You're the one that has to edit it later.
That's right. I am. I typically don't edit them though.
Yeah, that's true.
I typically don't.
It just goes up.
Yeah. And so there was this lady that I remember, she was a witch. I didn't know that at the time. I was probably 10, maybe 8 or 10.
Okay.
And this lady kept coming over the house, and my mom and dad, I'll never forget, they kept inviting her over. And one day I told my mom, I'm like, Mama, there's something not right about this lady. I don't think she should come over anymore.
Yeah.
And I will never forget this. Something told me, go get your Bible.
Yeah.
So I went into my bedroom at 8, 10 years old, went and grabbed my Bible, and stood up on the coffee table in the living room and was shaking it at her. And
okay.
And the lady that my mom said that they found out later that she was a witch, and that's the reason she was uncomfortable when I did that. And I'm like, well, you got an 8 or 10-year-old shaking a Bible at you too.
Right.
And it's because I sensed something in her. I sensed darkness in her.
Yeah.
And so what is the people that are Christ are naturally compelled to show the light.
Yeah.
And to drown out the darkness, because if you really think about darkness, when you turn a light on, the darkness kind of runs away. It flees.
Yeah.
It disappears. And so if we think of our lives like that, wherein we are the light of the world, and because he's given this command to us, for us to be the light of the world. And so if we're going to be the light of the world, we have to know exactly what the darkness is and exactly what the light is.
Yeah.
We have to know what both are. And so in Genesis 1:4, there was a darkness that was physical. And in many NDEs, many have described a darkness that could be felt. Just like I was saying before. Others have said that the darkness smothers them. Now, I can tell you a story about my wife one time. She was... Back when my wife was really young, there was a lot of bad things that happened to her. I'm not going to go into detail and do all of that, but it was bad stuff.
Yeah.
And what I know is that my wife, she is the most loving, kind, wonderful person I know.
Yeah.
And with that said, she felt a presence smothering her.
Oh, geez.
She was laying in the bed and something was on top of her.
Oh, geez.
Smothering her. And it was because of what my mother-in-law was doing at the time. I don't know all the details, but it was bad.
Okay.
When you dabble in things that you shouldn't be dabbling in, that's the end result.
There are consequences with that comes.
There are consequences. And so that's why when we are in sin, we are in the darkness.
Yeah.
And the only way to know the light is to reach out to the light.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't, if you're going to dwell in your darkness and your sin, these are the things that's going to happen. And so another example is in Revelations. Is your mic down? No. I knew it. Oh, no. Oh, it unplugged. I was like,
Apparently,
what?
I just was unplugging microphones.
I was like, what just happened?
I vanished from the podcast. Continue.
So another example of darkness is in Revelation 16:10. It says, the fifth angel poured out his bowl on the throne of the beast, and its kingdom was plunged into darkness. People gnawed their tongues in anguish. Now,
jeez.
Many of you, I don't know what your relationship with Christ is out there, but this is a consequence of living in darkness. This is what I believe. Now, you can agree with me or disagree with me. I don't know, but I'm going to be completely blunt.
Okay.
When you live in darkness your entire life, and that's what you seek, in the end, God is going to give you complete and total darkness.
Yeah.
Because that's what you've desired your entire life.
Yeah.
I desired to live in the light. Now, do I always live there? No, I don't.
You're human after all.
I'm human.
Yeah.
And I dwell in darkness a lot of times.
Yeah.
Losing my dad, I dwelt in darkness for 3 years, 5 years.
Yeah.
I've been in darkness for 3 years.
Yeah.
Just wandering around in the wilderness.
Yeah.
I might as well have been lost because I have no idea where I was going.
Yeah.
But it's funny because Jesus, when he says that he is the light of the world, that's exactly what he means.
Yeah.
He is the light that can rescue each one of us from darkness. Now, since the darkness that we know in the Bible often represents judgment, sin, and death, which it does, I have good news. Jesus defeated all these things. He's the one who defeated all this stuff.
Yeah.
He is the light in the darkness, as each one of us and every one of us walk in darkness, which is a representation of our sin, but Jesus comes to give us life. Now, the good news about this is through my life, I have found there have been times in my life when I have walked with Christ, and in those walks with Christ, I have lost my way because I took my eyes off of the light and went right back into darkness.
Yeah.
And so my advice to everyone out there, if you don't know him, call out to him.
Yeah.
He says that he'll rescue you if you call out to him.
Well, and I think we've talked about this before, but that's the thing about that is rescue doesn't mean like, oh, you get in the boat, he takes you to shore, then you walk away from him.
No.
Like once you've called out to him and you've signaled to him that you want his help.
Yep.
There's a it's not that there's a trade-off, but there's a you have told him like, I can't do this alone and I need your help. And like we talked about in our previous episodes, Jesus is not a Pez dispenser. Jesus is not the Coast Guard who picks you up and then puts you back down where you can walk away and go live the rest of your life without them ever again.
No.
Christ is a whole different operation altogether. And so calling out to him, that's why people talk about a lot of times when they commit their lives to Christ suddenly out of in their later years, why they talk about how things changed so much, so dramatically. Yeah. Because they turned their life over to him and it became a living life, part of their life. It became that was what it became. And so it's very, I think in this day and age, we've talked about this in previous episodes, it's very easy to be like, oh, on God, like I'm living for God, like, and all that, and make those statements. But unless those statements are followed by action and followed by you actually digging into it and giving your life over to him, it doesn't mean much. Yeah, exactly. It's just a publicity thing. It means nothing. It's just you saying, oh, well, I got in trouble and now I'm living my life by Christ. But then, outside of the limelight or outside of the social media, you're still doing things you shouldn't be doing. You're still living a life of sin and darkness. Yep. Like, it's not going to do any good. You're still going to have those same issues, those same struggles. Yep. But if you commit yourself to him and through the good and the bad, like that's the difference maker. That's the one thing that makes all the difference in the world.
It does. Yep.
So I just want to make sure that I said that.
Yeah, that's good to say because it's true. I mean, because that's where I was at for most of my life. I was saying with my mouth that I loved him, but in the same breath I walked in darkness. Yeah. And I found out, like, I remember this moment when I was thinking about, well, how am I truly going to live for him if I'm serious about it? Yeah. Because I thought, oh, I'm serious, Jesus, I'm serious. And then one day I woke up and said, oh crap, if I die, I'm going to end up in hell. Yeah. And I said, that's not where I belong. Right. And so I said, okay, Father, I need your help. Mm-hmm. And so I cried out to him, and bro, he answered. He answered me. And so he changed me. I don't know how to describe it. Mm-hmm. I am not the same man I was a month ago. I'm not. I'm completely different. And I just, my desire now is to trust him and trust him alone, because if you are trusting in money, you will fail. Yeah. If you're trusting in your career in IT, you will fail. Yeah. All that stuff will let you down at some point. It always will. Yeah. And there is nothing in this world, your wife, your spouse, your son, your daughter, there is nothing that can take Jesus' place. Yeah. Nothing. Mm-hmm. He is the only thing that will fulfill that need. Yeah. And so And I want to get into John 8:12 because this is a good one here.
Yeah.
It says, again, Jesus spoke to them, saying, I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will not walk in darkness, but will have the light of life. And I actually did the Strong's reference.
Ooh.
Woohoo, I like research. Oh, yes. So the reference number is 4653 Scotia.
Okay.
I'm assuming is how you say that.
Sure.
And it's from 4655 Skotos. I love Greek. It's cool sounding. And is the base of 4639 Skia. It can be literal or figurative darkness. And so furthermore in Exodus 10:21 we see this darkness that can be felt again. Then the Lord said to Moses, stretch out your hand toward heaven, that there may be darkness over the land of Egypt, a darkness to be felt. So Moses stretched out his hand toward heaven, and there was pitch darkness. Now, why does it say pitch darkness? Let's find out. And all of the land of Egypt 3 days. They did not see one another. That's crazy. Nor did anyone rise from his place for 3 days. But all the people of Israel had light where they lived. Now, if you think about this, some would say, oh, this is an eclipse.
Right.
But it says that nobody saw anybody else.
Right. Except for the Israelites.
Except for the
And they had
Israelites.
light where they lived. They were able to light candles. They would do things.
Exactly. So it's funny to me how darkness can be so overwhelming at times that you get to a point in your life where if you are a true Christian, at some point Jesus will convict you of your sins and say, okay, these are the ones that you need to deal with. And that's what happened to me this morning. I don't know what happened. My alarm went off at 5:30. I fell back asleep for like 20 minutes.
I'm shocked. How dare you?
Yeah, I shouldn't have, but I did.
It's okay. I woke up at 5:40 this morning and I couldn't get back to sleep. So
Oh, you couldn't?
No.
I wish I could. I wish I wouldn't have went back to sleep, but I did, and I'm glad that I did because I've been asking God for months, for about a month now, and I said, Lord, I need you to show me the things that don't belong,
yeah.
the things that I need to get rid of, and this morning He showed me one big one.
Okay.
And I don't know why that I'm still holding on to this. I don't know why. I want to be transparent with y'all because there are things that you're holding on to that need to be let go. And God says if you don't forgive them, He won't forgive you.
Yeah.
And that concerns me greatly because
Right.
I'm forgiven already.
Yeah.
But if I keep holding on to things, I can't be forgiven for any of the stuff I'm asking Him to forgive me for. So.
Well, and we're not going to name names or name the
No,
individuals we're talking
no,
about, but
no.
what Chris is talking about, because we talked about this at breakfast this morning. We had,
Yeah,
and I'm hopeful that we'll do this for the rest because it was nice to be able to have breakfast and kind of chat and
it was.
talk about life and stuff like that before we did
was.
this. So what Chris is talking about is he has a I don't want to call it a grudge or
I don't know what to call it.
yeah. I mean the easiest way to translate it is a grudge, but this one's. And we've all had this where we've all just like we've hated somebody, and the hate has reasons. Like the hate is not invalid.
It's not.
The hate has been born of various reasons or events or moments
Yep.
that individual caused to us. But what Chris kind of was talking about this morning is like you had like a dream where you like woke up just like hating this person,
Oh yeah,
and you were just like so kind of shocked
I was.
at being like, whoa, I don't want to hate this person. Like,
But I did.
yeah, and it's been what now 2 or 3 years since that person's been in your life.
Probably about 3.
3 years, yeah,
3.5.
3.5 years. So this person's not any. They're still in the community somewhere here, obviously. Like,
yeah,
but it's you kind of were just like it bothered you,
it bothers me a lot. Yeah,
and I think. So we talked about this morning, like that kind of tied into our conversation about darkness. Is that when Christ asks us to love our neighbors as we love ourselves, or as Christ loved us,
yep.
Christ loved us enough to forgive all of our sins.
He did.
He died. His
Facts.
son died on the cross and experienced all of our collective sin and pain and stupidity
Yep.
without God's presence in that moment. And that's when he cries out and dies,
He
at
did.
least according to my theory and my thoughts.
That's what I think too.
Yeah, there's
It's obvious.
varying opinions, and they're allowed to be varying opinions because theology is always complicated.
Yep.
But the point of it is that holding grudges or holding feelings against people in our world, beyond what should be like, okay, yeah, you're mad at him for 6 months and you know, you're not going to get there's not going to be any return on that hate. They're not going to apologize.
Yep.
It's just there. Eventually you have to move towards forgiveness or moving towards letting go of those feelings.
Yep.
What you talked about this morning is that you don't know how.
I don't.
And
I truly don't.
I think, and this again, to the listeners, you may have this or you may not. You may have been like, no, I never held a grudge for longer than 2 minutes. And like, okay, great, you're special.
You're very special.
Call the Pope; it's a miracle. Actually, the Pope is not in a great condition right now. In case you're curious, as of March 1st, he's in the hospital. Like the Pope has double pneumonia. Like we may lose the Pope in a week. I don't know. It's up there. It's concerning. He's old and he's not been healthy. Anyway, my point of it is that if you are that good and perfect, call the Pope if he can get him out of bed and get him to bless you as a miracle worker, whatever. We'll do it. My point is that we've all had grudges that we've probably held onto for longer than we should.
Yeah.
And the thing about holding a grudge longer than you should is it's that darkness.
It is.
Because that grudge can impact friendships that you have, relationships that you have, because that grudge is still there. And a grudge it's like a well that gets poisoned or a well that goes bad. You know, if something slips into your well out in the county and the well there's something in the water that's not good, if you don't find the source of that poisoning or that infiltration or whatever and clean up that well, you're gonna be drinking water that's bad for you, and you're gonna continually be drinking that, and eventually it's gonna hurt you in other ways. And so when that well gets poisoned, it's important to really root that out as fast as you can.
Yeah.
And get rid of it and clean it, because that will impact the rest of your life.
It will.
And it will probably impact your forgiveness ratio to others who offend you or upset you or grieve you.
Yeah.
So this when we talk about the darkness, it covers a lot of things.
Yep.
But especially for the conversation we had with Chris this morning, you can't hold on to something forever.
No.
It is exhausting at a certain point.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
And sometimes, like you said this morning, you woke up and you just kind of realized you've held on to this for too long. And we all have that moment where we go, man, I wish I could let this go. Now you have a decision to make in that moment. You can say, okay, I'm going to figure this out. I don't know how to do it right now, but I'm going to work towards that. Or you can go, screw it, I'm holding on to it. Yeah. I'm mad. I'm going to be mad. It's like 10 years later and you're like, okay, why are we talking about this?
Then you're intentionally walking in darkness.
Yeah, then you're intentionally just like, I don't care. I'm not forgiving them. They're blah, 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 blah. And I think and I feel like that speaks to an immature mindset.
It does.
And we all have to grow up eventually when it comes to handling conflict and handling people grieving on us and people making our lives miserable. We have to eventually get to the point where we're like, look, I'm not going to let this impact me more than the amount of time that it should.
Yeah, true.
So the reason why we talk about this is because that darkness, you have to work at it, and you have to, because if you don't start the forgiveness process now, the longer it sticks around, the longer it's gonna impact, and the longer you're gonna have to work at it to either maintain it or whatever. And
the roots get deeper.
They do, and then they impact other relationships.
Yep.
So my encouragement to you is, forgiveness is not forgetting. So this person caused grief to Chris and was kind of unkind and disrespectful in other ways. And that's just humanity. We make mistakes and people do that to us.
It's what they do.
But the thing is forgiveness is not forgetting what they did to you. You don't ever, because we talk a lot about situations where mental abuse happens or things of, abusive harassment or whatever things, unkind things that are repeatedly revisited upon people. Yep. And it's like, if you forget, in addition to forgetting, well, then you're setting yourself up for failure. You're setting yourself up to be, okay, well, I'll give them another chance, You don't have to give them another chance. You just need to work through the process of saying, I am not going to hold this against them anymore.
Yep.
I'm going to keep my distance. I'm not even going to have anything to do with them, but I'm going to let that part of me be at peace.
Yeah.
And I think that's the important part, because, one of my former students, she graduated early and she's now moving on in life and doing all kinds of things. But early on in her junior year into her senior year as she moved on in her to graduate early.
Yep.
She talked a lot about peace, and she was desperate to have peace in her life.
Peace is incredible.
Because the drama and the rumors and the drama that was going on in her former friend group and the people around her that she was associating with or had been associated with were just causing trouble and friction, and it was not peaceful. It was turbulent. It was unpleasant. It was unhealthy.
Yep.
And so she said, you know what? I had to cut them out of my life. I had to say, you know what? We're done. I need peace. And in some ways, sometimes that's what you have to do when you have something that you're holding against or a grudge or whatever, is you have to bring peace to your side.
Yeah.
Is you have to say, you know what? This is not important to me anymore.
It's not.
I'm not going to forget what they did to me or what they said or who they are. But I'm not going to carry that with me anymore. I'm going to let that go. I'm going to put it on the side of the road and I'm going to move on down the way. And I think it's complicated. Forgiveness is complicated. It's also pretty simple.
It's easy, but it's hard.
It's easy, but it's hard.
Yeah.
I told the story of Eva Kor. She was a Holocaust survivor.
Yep.
And she made a documentary. I think it was like Forgiving Dr. Mengele. And Dr. Mengele, if you don't know your history, was a Nazi doctor, I think at Auschwitz-Birkenau, who experimented on prisoners in horrific ways, especially twins. Like there was a lot of medical experiments he was trying to run and to determine and all these things.
Yep.
And he did horrifying things. And so Eva Kor, it was her and her twin. I don't think her twin survived, but she did. And this was many, many years after the Holocaust. Eva Kor recently died in the last 2 or 3 years. She had lived her life.
May she rest in peace.
She was an amazing figure. But the point of it is that she made a documentary where she forgave the Nazis.
Yeah.
She literally sought out German Nazi guards who had been a part of her camp and said, I forgive you. And it was the survivor community was divided. There were a lot of survivors from the Holocaust who were upset, who were pissed.
Oh, they're
mad.
like,
how dare you speak for, and she was like, but it is not, it's not a burden for me anymore. I don't want to focus on the hate.
No, you can't.
I want to focus on teaching people about that hate and why it's not important to have hate for others in our hearts and to let us love people and to let us respect people. And she has a museum called the Candles Museum. I think it's in Indiana, that she made, and it's still there, and school groups go and tour it, and her spirit and her mission remains even though she's passed. But she, think about it for a second. A woman who stood up and said, I'm not letting the Nazis' crimes against me weigh me down anymore. I can't carry this. Now, you can say that she was wrong, she was right, she was sort of in the middle, but when we take the lessons of Christ into this and we apply it to Eva Kor, it's hard you can't argue with her.
Yeah.
Because she endured probably as close to the pain and suffering that Christ endured on the cross. You can't get any closer to that than someone who suffered through the Holocaust in the camps under experimentation.
The place was horrible.
And all that. The visceral struggle and pain. And she came out of that and years later said, you know what? No more. I'm going to live my life in freedom. I'm not going to let what they did to me and who they are define me anymore. And I've watched it, and it has stuck with me since I watched that documentary.
That's crazy.
And it's been at least, 8-9 years since I've watched it. It is startling. So to you, I say, Chris, it is not impossible.
It's not.
Sometimes it's just as easy as saying every day to yourself, I forgive this person. And it may not happen right then, but sometimes repeating it I forgive this person every morning. I forgive this person. I don't forget, but I forgive them. And even in prayer, being, Lord, help me forgive this person. Help me me unburden this weight. Help me process this.
Yeah.
Help me leave this behind as I move on in my life. And sometimes that's all it takes. And it may be more complex for you down the road, but I have lived my life, and I've had to do a lot of forgiveness work in my own life. And
We all do.
It strikes people sometimes as odd because I don't hold on to grudges very long anymore. I used to, but it's very rare. Now, I'm not perfect. I have a couple that I'm still nursing for the last couple of years, but I'm working towards just moving past that.
Yeah.
And I think it's a process, but you have to apply yourself to that process and be open to yourself. I'm working on forgiving this person. Today is another day of me trying to process my forgiveness for this person.
Yeah.
Because again, that darkness, it will metaphorically slow you down. It will impact you because the next time someone pisses you off or upsets you or treats you wrong, you are going to go back to that poison well that you haven't yet cleansed.
Yep.
And that same poison is going to get even stronger.
Yep.
And that well is going to get even more foul, more ugly, more sour.
Yep.
And the more you pour into that, the more that you allow into there, your well eventually becomes where nobody wants to hang out with you because you're a miserable human being who just holds grudges with everybody and complains and moans and everything. Nothing's ever your fault. Not that you're there at all. You're very far from that. But that's the eventual path that leads.
That's the path that goes to,
And I think
that's where my mother is there.
Yeah.
She complains a lot.
Yep.
She says she doesn't want to be here. And I told her, I'm like, look, Mama, you say that you don't, but God put you here.
Yeah.
And I told her that yesterday. She didn't argue with me last night. She didn't argue. So
I'm guessing she usually does.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So last night she didn't.
That's an understatement.
Okay.
But it's a testament to see, and it's funny because I look at her life and I see the things where she went wrong.
Yeah.
And it caused great distress in her life. It caused her a lot of pain and a lot of hurt.
Yeah.
And she brought it on herself.
Yeah.
And so you think to yourself, you're like, well, okay, well, if I continue down this path of darkness is I'm going to reap.
Yeah.
If you do live in darkness, that's what you're going to reap.
Right.
But I believe what I need to do is to reach out to him every day. I think you're right.
Yeah.
It's just every day reach out to him and say, help me forgive this person.
Yeah.
Because I that's not who I am. I am not somebody that holds on to hate.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently with this one person, I am, and I don't know why.
Well, again, we're not naming names. We're not going to deal with that. But this individual, and I know this because we all have had experiences with this person, but the level at which that hurt for you was significant.
It was significant.
And it's easy when someone offends you, a one-off situation, you never see them again. You're like, okay, I'll forgive that person. And you move past it. But when it's someone in your life where it's repeated for a couple of years or however long, there's an extended period of that betrayal or that hurt or that, whatever, it's a lot harder because you have to imagine it. It's like, okay, when you go and you clean out the weeds in your backyard during the summer or spring or whatever, there's those little surface weeds you just pluck and they're gone.
Yeah.
Okay, it's easy. Fine, forgiveness completed. But then you find those weeds that have been growing and dug in with their roots, and you're pulling at it, and it's like it's not coming out like it normally should. This is going to take a little work.
You got to dig it.
So then you got to get the shovel out, and you got to get at the roots, and you really have to get at the roots. You can't just chop off the roots and walk away because those roots are still there. If you want that weed gone, you got to really, really dig and toil the soil and clean it, and even grab some like weed spray and make sure you soak that grass the dirt really well so that it kills any remaining possibility of those roots regaining ground.
That's a really good way to
and
say
restrain. So, and it's anything with like a tree or whatever. If you let it take root and you let it hold on, it's gonna be a hell of a lot harder to pull that out.
Oh, it is,
and get that part of your life clean, or get that part of your heart kind of restored from not being so hung on to this. Yeah. And so that's why, and it takes time. Like it takes time to get those deep roots cleaned out and get those deep weeds out. But that's the beauty of it, is that time is available to us. And like in Christ, it takes time. There's not just a one-off solution. Like, oh my God, I fixed it. It's problem solved. It takes time, and that's okay. But you have to be willing to accept that it's going to take time there. So,
I'm willing, so that's the key.
Yeah, and that's the important thing, is if you're not willing, you're just going to keep that weed's going to keep spreading and causing trouble and everything else. So.
It will. Yeah, and so they I really don't got anything else. That really is what I wanted to get at.
Well, so here's
Really?
something. So I like what you say here in one of these paragraphs. You say a good way to describe the light is the reference to the sun. It's the sun that can be felt. We feel the warmth of its heat, thereby knowing. And in darkness, we cannot see anything. But when the sun comes into our view, we know that it's daytime is described in Genesis with the creation with the creation account. Although the light is much more than the sun cannot compare to the Son of God in all his glory and majesty. So we're getting a lot better weather now. For a while, it's been really cold and not a lot of sun.
Yep.
But it's been in the 60s this week.
It has. Woo,
And
woo.
being out in the sun,
Hallelujah.
there is something about the warmth on your skin that I absolutely enjoy. Like that,
me too.
there's a part of my brain, the serotonin dopamine hit, where you walk in the sunshine and you feel that warmth and it's comforting and it's right. And you're like, this is what I've been needing all winter long. Why haven't I had this?
Bye, winter.
Yeah, it's back. It'll be Tuesday. It's coming back. We're getting some snow on Tuesday, so
Oh, dead.
it's just what it is. But like, it's those moments where that description where you put that in there and you talk about the sun. It is an apt description because the light feels good. It restores your balance. It ignites your soul. It ignites your mind. It ignites your body. Your body's like, ooh, sunshine. Yay.
Let's go.
There's a reason why vitamin D is something that people are like, hey, you should get some sunlight every so often because that's natural vitamin D that goes in your skin. And it's like people talk about like seasonal affective disorder, where if they don't get their sun, they have issues with depression and other things.
Like Alaska.
Yeah, like Alaska. Alaska is
huge.
and it's dark a lot there during certain times of the year. So people will buy sunlights, they'll do those things to get treatment, to make sure that they figure that out and don't get caught in that cycle. So that's the power of the sun. It's the power of light. Light is known universally across all human experiences as being something that helps you grow. And to bring the weed reference, the pulling of the weeds, the sun, the light, that's what brings oxygen. It grows trees. It grows grass.
It does.
And so again, not to be all metaphorical, but we're going with it. So if you don't water your grass during the warm times of the spring and summer, your grass is going to die.
It will.
The sun is a part of that process, but the water is required. And so as you journey through your forgiveness process, it's a matter of, okay, am I watering my soul? Am I giving my soul that sun, that light? Am I feeding my soul the extra special whatever that we put on the grass, like fertilizer? Or am I
10-10.
Yeah, am I doing all of this? Am I making sure to grow myself and to warm myself and to light myself to do these things that I need to do as I continue to process through this grudge or this whatever? That's the important thing, I think, is the other side of that is, are you doing what you should be doing? Because he calls us, he's our shepherd. We're lambs. Lambs are stupid, in case you didn't know that. They are the dumbest things in the world.
They are. Yeah, they'll go right toward a wolf, toward it.
Or go into a ditch. They'll pull them out and they'll go right back into the ditch.
They
It's
will.
like, oh, you dumbass.
Over and over again.
Dummies. Anyway, but the point of it is that we're also like grass. We're like trees. We need that sun. We need that light. We need that water. We need that fertilizer. We need that care. We need that weeding. We need we need to get weeds pulled out of ourselves. We need to be kind of the chaff. We call it the chaff in the field, pulling the chaff out of the field. Again, why he used these metaphors in the Bible? People are like, oh, that doesn't make any sense. Well, yes, at the time, in our time, maybe it doesn't. But if you think back
then,
to the context, people were like, oh my gosh, yes, I hate when I have to go clean this chaff out of my field.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, that's the process. That's what you have to do. And they're like, oh my gosh, I get it, Jesus. Man, you're right on. You're speaking my language.
Yeah.
Jesus knew what he was talking about.
He did.
So in a lot of ways, light is not just a metaphor, but it's also a real thing. Are you spending time in church? Are you making sure that you are engaged like every other week? We sit down and we talk. We talk theology. We trade conversation. We engage. I gave you a metaphor you hadn't thought about with the whole cleaning of the weed situation. You're like, wow, I like that. But that's the beauty of conversation. That's the beauty of engaging with believers and having those moments of like, okay, here's what I think. It's like, oh, I hadn't even thought about that. That helps me understand. That helps me figure out that it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take a couple of days or more to get that weed out of my heart, to pull every root and to make sure and dig in there and clean it out and get some herbicide and clean out the weeds, but keep the grass growing and keep that soil fertile for whatever is planted there so that it takes hold and it stabilizes so that when the rain comes and the storms come, the soil holds and doesn't flood. Do you like that?
I like that too.
I just came away. I was like,
No sand. We won't soil.
No, we want. Well, yeah. You talk about right now in California after those fires.
Yeah.
There's a lot of issues with mudslides and stuff like
There
that
are.
because all the stuff that was holding that soil together is gone, burned.
Yeah.
And so we talk about that here. Like you want to have that soil strengthened and held together. You're going to need something strong and worthwhile to sit in there. So
Facts.
there you go.
Man, that's all I got.
That's all you got?
That's exactly what I wanted to go into.
We're here to help.
Without even, we left out like half of it, but that's.
Well, let's look through these notes because I'm curious to see.
I put a lot of stuff in there, man.
So I love this. So Matthew 22:13. I love this.
Oh yeah.
So the wedding banquet is ready. Did not consider to come. So the street corners invite the banquet anyone you find. They found, but when the king came to see the guests, he noticed a man there was not wearing. Like he said, tie him hand and foot, throw him outside into darkness where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. For many are invited, but few are chosen.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a cool little verse. It's Matthew. Where are we at? Matthew
22:13.
22:13. So that's an interesting kind of like the people who have accepted Christ and walk with him every day. Everyone else will be cast into darkness. And again, when he's talking about darkness, people at that time would have understood. Yeah, that's scary to be thrown out into darkness where there's bad things and people who are not doing good things in there.
My son won't even walk up the stairs when it's dark up. Daddy, it's dark up there. What is going to happen?
So
something might get me. What's going to get you? You're 14.
All right. In his defense, not really, sort of in his defense. So in a previous life, I was in charge of church security and evening facility work at a church back in the day. And that was closing up was the scariest part of my night.
Oh, I imagine.
Because that church was huge. And the darkness in the downstairs, there were no windows.
Oh, it's dark.
So I had to turn the lights on as I go and then turn them out as I go. And so as I'm like turning off the last of the lights before I head up into the actual upstairs where there's some light, there were some moments where I was just like, oh, it's scary, it's dark. But I eventually got a flashlight. But there was one time, so those cardboard stand-ups of different characters or whatever?
Yeah.
So for one year we had like the men's ministry event and they had a stand-up of John Wayne. And so one day, for a couple of weeks that it was up there, every time I would walk up the stairs, like after I'd closed up the downstairs and it was a little dark upstairs, I would see the cardboard cutout of John Wayne and think it was somebody. And I'd be like, ah! But then I'm like, oh, wait, that's John Wayne. That's John Wayne. But it's still, like every time I knew he was there, but it's still, my brain was like, somebody's in the building. I need to run. So in his defense, your lizard brain reacts and goes, wah! And then you go, oh, wait, it's fine. But in that moment, you're just like, so I feel that.
But see, for me, the darkness has never been that. It's not. I mean, I was scared a lot when I was younger.
I don't like darkness.
I don't want to be scared no more.
I don't like dark. I mean, we're adults. We use flashlights now and again, but
oh yeah, we do.
There you go. Okay, so should we finish up with this one? There we go. Here's John 12:35.
Let's finish that one.
So Jesus said to them, "The light is among you for a little while longer. Walk while you have the light, lest darkness overtake you.
Yeah.
The one who walks into the darkness does not know where he is going. While you have the light, believe in the light, that you may become sons of light."
Amen.
That's what we do. That's our job. Our
Yeah.
job is to be the light to others around us, and that's why we talk about Christians following Christ in everything that we do, and why Christians are set apart, and why they should set themselves apart, and they should be the example.
Exactly.
While they should not be judgmental of those in the world, they should be willing to love those in the world and show them a better way and a better path.
Exactly.
So, there you go. We will be back in 2 weeks.
The 15th.
We haven't decided what we're going to talk about yet, but I'm sure it'll be exciting.
It will be.
Full of adventure and all the things.
It always is.
It always is.
I like it.
Outside of that, we hope that you have a good week. Spend that time in prayer. Spend that time in the Bible. Spend that time with friends who are believers in community. Don't try and do this journey alone. It is absolutely, completely, and fully not worth it. And find your people and find your community, because that is the only way we get through this to the end.
True.
All right. My name is Aaron.
My name is Chris.
This has been the Mad Monk Podcast. We'll see you on the next episode.